Thank you for joining us on another Cash or Trash episode. I'd like to warn everybody that some of these videos may be a little upsetting to some of you because we may be talking a little bit of trash about some of these brands, especially if you work for the company, if you own any of these brands, or if you're just a fan of them. We may talk a little bit of trash and knock them down a peg or two, but there may be some good stuff as well, so check it out. Hey everyone, it's Alan over at Cobblers Plus again, and we got another Cash or Trash episode. Today's video, we got a pair of Viberg boots for you. Now these boots have had already a recraft done on them, but I'm glad I did it before this video, so I can give you guys a little bit more of a heads up about what is going on, and I can give you an honest opinion about these boots. Viberg are one of those that they're a huge, Marcus calls them a hype beast. They're a huge brand, in other words, in the heritage boot community, where guys are always talking them up, going crazy over them, saying, oh man, you gotta stop getting this brand of boot and go with Viberg instead. And we're gonna really dive into it really quick for you and just give you a full disclosure and a heads up that you guys are gonna get really mad at me about this one, honestly, because Viberg, they're overall, these boots are great. Now these boots are technically more of like a rough out, well, they are rough out leather, but they're not quite as rough as, say, like a suede. These ones here are more of like a nubuck type of finish, so they got to be treated a little more like a suede, not like a smooth leather, which is completely fine. Most people who own these boots, they're technically getting them for everyday use or more of like a fashion type of, like, you know, boot. In other words, they're not getting them for a work boot, so we can't put them into a category of work boot at all. As a full heads up, I am going to start doing categorized ratings on shoes, because I can't give a luxury brand the same type of treatment as I would, say, a heritage boot or a work boot or a western boot. They're in completely different categories and tiers. So this one, we're going to put it into the heritage category, specifically the Goodyear welted design, because there is also things like stitch down, Blake stitch, there's all sorts of different types, and we're going to start categorizing them. And this is the heritage Goodyear welted models that we're going to put this one into, and we're going to compare it with other boots down the road as well, kind of on a rating and everything. But let's start it out. Material quality, we're going to give them a 7. Build quality, a 7 as well, mainly because I can't give them anything higher than that because of this. If you watch the Recraft video that we already posted, if you're a hardcore fan and you watched till the very end, you watched through it all and you saw what's going on the inside of these boots, you would understand why. But if you're just watching the Cash or Trash episode, these are the reasons why. So instead of cork or leather on the inside, they used foam on a $700+ pair of boots. Not okay at all. Like, that's just not okay. I mean, everything else on these is phenomenal. There's like small little details that are kind of iffy. Like, I wasn't sure about the stitching that they had on here. Again, you can see that in the video to see what's going on, because I couldn't tell if the company was trying to make the white stitches into a brown or if they just accidentally got a little bit of wax. There's small little details that are not very refined on these boots, like the sole, for example. You can see right here, I'll kind of do a separate clip on that, but there's just this little bit of like small refinement that they're not finishing out. The sole is kind of rough looking and everything as far as the finish work. There's just too much going on the sole, and all around, even the welt too, where it's just not fine-tuned. There's all these small little details here and there that they did not take care of. Now, you know, it's completely up to you what you think on that, but that's what I think. That, you know, for the price point, obviously we can easily say it's a high price point for this category of boot. It's not quite luxury, but it's kind of pushing it there. But we're going to go back, because we kind of jumped the gun here, and keep rating it. Comfort, we're going to give them a 7, because they are still a Goodyear welted boot with a filler, even though the filler is a foam. out of the box, they're probably going to be comfortable just because this is a foam and you're not really having to break it in nearly as much as you would a cork or a leather. But long term, you're going to drop down that support because of that to about a 6 because of it. I actually only wrote a 7, but it's going to be a 6 for sure on that. Collectability and show-off-ability, both I'll give them an 8 because after all, they are a Viberg, like Marcus had called them, a hype beast. They are one of those that if you are in the boot community, you collect boots and everything, you got a pair of Vibergs, you kind of have bragging rights a little bit in that community. Not too much. There are some boots that definitely have a little more bragging rights too, but we'll give them an 8 on those. Maintenance, mainly on this one, I'll give them a 7 just because, again, this is a rough out finish nubuck. It's a little bit of extra work, especially because most guys that buy these, they're not buying them for construction work. They're not trying to use them in that harsh environment and understand that they're going to get beaten up and everything. Most of the guys that are buying them, they're going to wear them with jeans and just around town and work and all that kind of stuff. And so when you're going to get them dirty, you're going to try to clean them and everything, and it takes a little more effort to clean this rough out. Some of their other models with maybe a smoother finish, or if they're darker, is going to be a little easier to maintain. Those can probably get bumped up to like an 8 or a 9, but these particular ones, I'd give them a 7 on that. Not too high of a rating, but not too low either, because they're still easy to take care of. Recraftability, they're a 10. They're easy to recraft. Thankfully, the soles on these are not hard to do because they do have a pretty good welt. It's just not very refined and fine-tuned. It's kind of rough looking. It is a 270-degree welt on these, leather stacked heel bases, leather heel rand on the inside or on the back edge here. So recraftability, I'll give them a 10 for sure on that. They've got a nice leather liner inside and everything. So there are nice features about this boot for sure. But now we get back to the price point. It is a high price point. My opinion, there are only 2 reasons why I don't think I can give these a cash. I'm going to have to give these a trash because of that price point. That price point is killing me at over $700 a pair on average. That is way too high for these boots, and for the fact that they're using things like this on the inside of the boot makes me question a little bit as far as the quality of the leather on some of the parts. The leather stacked heel bases did peel apart on me and everything when I was working on them, which isn't uncommon, but again, at that $700 price point, and you can tell these boots have not been worn in a lot, that sole still has plenty of meat on it and everything. That's a little questionable. So for those 2 main reasons are the only reasons why I'm going to give these a trash. If they brought the price down by at least $200, if not $250 or even $300, these would definitely be worth it. If you find them on sale, definitely worth it for sure at that lower price point. But I cannot stress enough that these are not worth $700+ all right? They're not, unless they bump up their quality standards, unless they switch over to cork or leather and fine tune all the small details on these guys. These can't be worth $700+ and they got shell cordovan models that are over $1,000. That's when we start getting to luxury prices. I haven't seen those in person yet to be able to give you guys a rating on those, but it's going to make me question the shell cordovans now personally. Considering what I saw with these, I would go with a different brand at that price, honestly. So I know I made a lot of Viberg fans very angry. Sorry, but that's the honest truth. There's a lot of details that I can show you in the Recraft video. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to check it out firsthand, what's going on. This is not acceptable here. There's small little details, again, because the nails they used a lot of nails in here, which is a good thing, but they did use regular kind of nails that aren't ripper nails that will really bite down onto the material. So for those reasons, I'm going to have to give them a trash. And again, this is in the heritage Goodyear welted category. It's not in the luxury brand category. It's not in the work boot category. This is for this particular category, which I'm going to start doing from now on in all the videos, and put each shoe, boot, and everything into categories so that we can give them a fair and honest rating. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know some of you guys definitely didn't enjoy it, but if you did, give me a thumbs up and share this with other people so that they're informed that if they're going to start hammering away at you saying you need to upgrade from this brand to Viberg, no you don't. You don't need to upgrade to Viberg. They're not worth that price. Alright everyone, so obviously the video for the Recraft has been already posted and everything, and those of you who had watched to the end have noticed that there may be some people in the comments already blowing up about it, and in some of the groups as well. Want to clear up a couple of things real quick. kind of perfect actually if we do it in this way, where we post the Recraft video, give a review for those of you who watched to the very end. And now for a quick update. Obviously I don't have the boots anymore because the customer who owns them has already picked them up, but I do want to clear up a few things. First off, the main reason why I'm giving it a trash on these boots is because the price is the number one thing. The second is obviously that filler, but the price is the biggest thing. At that price point, there are a number of boots and shoes that you can purchase that are of better quality for that exact same price. And that's my main thing that I want to point out to everybody, because, you know, $700+ and apparently somebody even commented in one of the groups saying that they're even higher now, closer to that $800 mark, which is just insane. That quality standard is great on those boots, but not $700 or more dollars. Maybe that $500 mark, great price if you buy them secondhand, if you buy them on discount. Phenomenal boots for those price points for sure at $500 or under, but not $700+ or even especially $800. Then second off, that material, as far as the filler, it is a pour-on type of material, but you have to keep in mind it is a synthetic material at the end of the day still. And when you have a boot at that kind of price point, you have to use something a little more on the natural side that's going to be more breathable. Pour-on is a synthetic material and it does not breathe. It's not insulating either. That's the biggest concerns that we have with man-made materials. Now, obviously, you can use whatever you want as filler. You can use newspaper, toilet paper, whatever you want as a filler to fill in that crevice there where you have a Goodyear welted boot like that. However, you have to keep in mind the structural integrity. Pour-on does hold up a little bit better than a standard foam, for example, but you have to keep in mind that it still collapses over time. Cork, for example, on the other hand, and leather as well, are going to form to your foot, making it more like almost a custom orthotic, as well as the insulating properties of both of those material over the synthetic materials as well. So I wanted to point those few things out, and I'm glad that the Recraft video went up. And for those of you who watched and chimed in, these are your answers on the Cash or Trash episode, and it's perfect. I'm glad it worked out that way, because I knew I was going to cause a little bit of havoc in some of the groups, and some guys were going to get very mad. Even a few cobblers got a little bit mad about it too. But I definitely wanted to point that out, that yes, you can use that pour-on material. Yes, you can use a foam material. You can use whatever you want as a filler. But at the end of the day, if you have a boot that's $700+, use something that has a good, useful purpose other than just filling in an empty cavity. Have multiple uses for us, especially when it comes to shoes. You want insulation, and you want that, you know, custom feel once the boots are broken in as well. And obviously there are some of you out there that are still going to buy Vibergs even at full price. That's your decision. This is something that I'm giving you as my opinion for being a cobbler, obviously, in the trade. I've been second generation. I've been in this for quite some time, and I want to give you my opinion that at that price point, I'd look at different brands instead personally. And if you're new to Vibergs or somebody's trying to push you into buying them, do your research. And also one other thing I'll point out, that this is only one boot that Viberg offers. Obviously they have other designs, styles, brands, and builds, or not brands, but styles and builds. So definitely keep in mind that if you're going to check out some of the other ones they're made, or in most cases definitely be some better things and better materials. But as far as quality standards, I don't have a pair on hand right now to be able to show you, but as soon as I have one in, I'll definitely let you guys see it and let you know what my opinion is on it. But on this particular design of Viberg boots, I'm sorry, I have to stick to that trash rating on it just because of that price. And again, adding a synthetic material in a boot at that price point is not an acceptable thing to do, no matter what everyone says, because all it's doing is just filling in the crevice and it has no additional purpose. So I hope this kind of clears a few things up for those of you who have seen the comments down below trying to say, you know, horrible things about what I'm giving the rating and everything. This is the honest truth. I've been around it for quite some time. I work with other cobblers and I talk to other cobblers. A lot of them out there are saying the exact same thing. Synthetic material will never beat natural, real material that's not man-made. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.